Hi, I'm Lucy from A Good Chat Counselling and Therapy. You can find all my contact links below. Thank you so much for joining me. This week, I'd like to talk about something that was brought up to me by a client. They asked me, how do I know if I'm a good person? And I thought, wow, that is a good question, because it's one that's actually brought up quite a lot. As a counsellor, I get to see all sorts of aspects of people and their lives and all the different and unique stories. Some people have a really clear set definition of who they are. I think that I'm one of those people. I'm pretty sure I know what I want and I go for it and I do it and I don't stop to question things. I just assume that I'm on the right track for right or wrong, and then later on I'll deal with the consequences. But there are other people that are very different in their approach. They constantly question things. They question their interactions, or they have an experience around them that leads them to question these things. They question, am I a good person? They know that at some point in their history they haven't been. We all do. We all know that at some point we were either a horrible person or we did horrible things. I myself used to be a horrible person. I just was. I was toxic, angry, I was traumatized and hadn't dealt with it. And I was just young and stupid and angry and all of those things that come with it. And it made me a fairly toxic person. And then I had a big wake-up call and I made massive changes in my life that are still ongoing because I'm not quite where I want to be. But I don't stop these days and say, am I a good person? I don't need to. I made changes in my life that ensure that I'm a good person. And by a good person, I mean somebody that doesn't do harm, tries to express kindness, even though it's my own specific brand, and sometimes I'm a little bit harder than other people. Not all of us are built like soft plush toys. Some of us have got skins like leather. Doesn't mean that we're not as valuable or lovely. But the question of, am I a good person, is not actually a hard one to answer. Do I harm people? Do my actions harm people? Are things that I'm doing deliberately upsetting other people? Do I consider other people's feelings when I decide to do things? Am I doing it to bring joy to people? Even if I'm not considering their specific feelings, did I have the intention of them enjoying this? Do I do good things for people? Doesn't necessarily mean that you're a Boy Scout and you go out and you volunteer at an animal shelter every week. It can just be little things. Do I help the people in my life? Do I help strangers? Do I smile at people more than I yell at them? Do I yell at people constantly? Am I one of these people that's likely to be on YouTube at some point because somebody found me abusing a register lady at the local supermarket? Am I somebody that would turn up at McDonald's and throw a burger back at them because they got an order wrong? Even if you've done those things in the past, it doesn't dictate that you might not be a good person. It means that you didn't do good things, and that's okay, we've all done that. But being a good person is actually really simple. I mean, being a bad person is really simple too, but being a good person is actually really easy to do. Be kind, be considerate, be appreciative, and be aware. Be aware of the fact that there is such a thing as a good person. Be aware that there is such a thing as a bad person and know what that is, and then don't do that. Life is really complicated at times, and we are constantly faced with decisions that affect other people around us, not just ourselves. And it can get very confusing into very complex with those decisions that we have to make. But if you always fall on the side of kindness, fairness, equity, respect, and love, as cliche as that sounds, you'll always be a good person. There are a lot of people out there that are probably going to try and take advantage of that if you let them. There are people out there that won't respect, reciprocate, or understand kindness and fairness and love. There are people that are ingrained out there that are going to be selfish and jealous and greedy, but it's about recognizing that and not being that. It's about taking all of those things that you've done in your life where you've said, I'm so ashamed of that. I wish I hadn't done that. Why did I do that? I don't understand. And using them as lessons to prevent yourself from doing that in the future. Now, sometimes it can take a bit of effort to get there. In fact, it's going to take a lot of effort for most people to actually get there. But our general baseline in nature is to be kind to each other. It really is. It's tribalism and things from our deep past and the reptile parts of our brain and the deeper buried parts where there are some aspects of our personalities like fear and uncertainty and greed and anger. These are some things that are base issues that we can actually control. We can put those back in a box and say, you are a tool that I don't need. Anger is a very valuable emotion. However, it's generally just wasted. We don't put that energy that we have. We usually just express it as being unpleasant to people, about being aggressive in our actions. I found out a while ago that I can actually take anger and turn it into a really productive force of habit. I can use that as an enforcement to prevent myself from feeling it again in the future with a situation. Once I've felt anger, I tend to push to never feel that again. I don't like that feeling. The result is that when I'm angry, it's quite hard to tell. I will often be quite testy, but I'm very unlikely to actually lose my temper these days. Whereas once upon a time, that simply was not the case. The question of, am I a good person, isn't one that you should have to ponder for long. If you're asking the question, it usually indicates that you're falling on the good side because you've got a self-awareness there. Unless, of course, you've just committed genocide, in which case, no, you're not a good person. You need to fix that. I don't know how you would, but you've got some issues that need addressing. But most people, however, aren't. They aren't involved in that. They aren't involved in anything near so dark. And it really isn't so hard to take yourself from a selfish, greedy, narcissistic place into a much more, am I a good person to other people? Yes. Am I a good person to myself? Yes. It's not that difficult, but it should be something that we all strive for and that we all really try to achieve, because it isn't a switch. It isn't just something that's going to be, I'm a good person. It's accumulative actions and they take time, and they're the things that you do daily. Am I a good person? I don't know. Not really. Other people say that I am, but I guess I'll find out when I die, won't I? One way or the other. It'll either be my lasting legacy is that people were, he was a good person, or there's some entity out there that will judge me on my actions, and I'll find out then. But between now and then, the results are the same. I want to work towards it. I don't need to know it. I just need to know that I'm trying, because at the end of the day, they're almost the same thing. So if you're questioning, am I a good person? Am I good enough? Keep trying to be a good person and you'll see. So that's all I've got this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I love that you're here. I love that you're watching these. Hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe, all of the usual stuff. And I will see you again next week. My name's Lucy and this was a good chat, and I hope this was a good chat. Bye for now.